Shalom, and welcome to another lesson in our series, The People of Israel Are Coming Home. Today we will study chapter 20, Perek Kaf. Before I start Perek Kaf, I want to go back to a few of the last sentences that appear in chapter 19. Perek Yutet, verse 49. Vayechalu linchol et haaretz ligvuloteha. Vayitnu v'nei Yisrael nachala liYoshua b'nun. They finished apportioning the land according to its territories. The children of Israel gave an inheritance to Joshua. Al pi Adonai natnu lo ta'ir asher sha'al. According to the word of Hashem, they gave him the city he requested. It was called Timnat Serach. In the book of Judges, it's called something else. When we get to the book of Judges, we will discuss that. Vayivne et ha'ir vayeshiv ba. He built the city and he lived there. Eile hanechalot asher nichalu Elazar hakohen v'Yoshua ben Nun v'rashei ha'avot lematei bnei Yisrael begoral b'shilo lifnei Adonai petach ohel moed vayechalu mechalek et haaretz. And they finished dividing up the land. What's interesting here are 2 points I wanted to point out. First of all is the word vayechal, vayechalu. They completed. In verse 49, vayechalu, they finished the division of the land. And the first land, and vayechalu mechalek et haaretz, and they finished dividing up the land. The word vayechulu or vayechal or vayechal or vayechalu is not a very common word in Torah or in the Tanakh. It appears in a few places. It appears at first at the end of the creation of the world, and God concluded the creation. Vayechal Elohim, vayechulu hashemayim v'aretz, vayechal Elohim, and God finished. Then it appears on the creation, or on when the people of Israel built the tabernacle, Vayechal Moshe, and Moses finished. Here we have Vayechalu mechalek et haaretz, meaning that when God created the world, He creates heaven and earth, and He gives us the earth, that we should make sure His divine presence is in the world. And for that, we built the tabernacle, and we divide the land of Israel to the people of Israel. And this is meaning that what Joshua is doing over here is part of the aim, the part of the goal, the essence of the creation of the world. Dividing the land of Israel to the people of Israel. It's a one continuous process where the people of Israel, in the land of Israel, will be calling in the name of God. Another point that I wanted to point out, and that is when Joshua concludes dividing the land and giving each tribe its portion, this is that Joshua gives the people land according to the word of Hashem. The final thing is the people of Israel give a portion to Joshua according to Hashem. And this is the beauty of Joshua. After he gives the land to the people of Israel, he actually finally he finally, I would say, enforces the fact that he is the leader of the people of Israel. And now they give him a part of the land. Actually, they express the fact that he is leader over the people of Israel. And from this point, I want to go on to the first verse in chapter 20. Vayedaber Adonai el Yehoshua lemor. And God spoke to Joshua. This is a very rare verse. Throughout the entire Torah, we find often Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Here, after Joshua receives the leadership over the people from the people, after he's concluded his mission, he's actually now totally in the footsteps of Moses. We saw at the beginning of the book of Joshua begins that after Moses passes away, Joshua goes into his shoes and continues the process that Moses began. Here we see that Joshua has reached the point. We see at the end of the book, and when we get there, he even gets to be called the name that Moshe was called, and that is Eved Adonai, a slave of Hashem. But here we see the only time Vayedaber Adonai el Yehoshua lemor, exactly as it appears in the Torah, only for Moshe. It appears once again for Aaron and once again for Noach. But when we study those chapters, we'll talk about that there. And here, which means that we have reached the point, Joshua has concluded dividing the land to the different tribes. And now he's finally assembling the people, and he's telling them something. What is this great command that he's telling them? Speak to the people of Israel and tell them, prepare for yourselves cities of refuge. Tnu lachem arei miklat asher dibarti alechem biad Moshe. Lanus sham rotzeach, maken nefesh b'shgaga, v'hayu lachem lemiklat migoel hadam. There's a place where a killer who has killed somebody unintentionally, he can run to there, he can go there, and these cities will be a refuge for him. They will be a refuge for him from the blood avenger. He shall flee to one of these cities. He shall live among them. They provide him with a place for him to live there. And when the blood avenger is chasing him, they will not deliver the killer into his hand. They will not give him or deliver him because he has struck his fellow unwittingly, unintentionally. וישב בעיר ההיא עד עמדו לפני העדה למשפט עד מות הכהן הגדול עד אשר יהיה בימים ההם אז ישוב הרוצח ובא אל עירו ואל ביתו אל העיר אשר נף שם. How long does he have to stay there? He stays there until that the designated Kohen, the designated supreme high priest passes away, and then he can return back to his home. What we see here is a repetition of what appears in the book of Numbers and in the book of Deuteronomy. Book of Numbers chapter 35 and the book of Deuteronomy chapter 19. But I wanted to point out something very, very interesting, because in the book of the story of the cities of refuge, in the book of Numbers and in the book of Deuteronomy are two different stories. What is the purpose of these cities of refuge? The purpose of these cities of refuge, on the one hand, is to protect the person who killed. He did it unintentionally. There's a blood avenger who wants to kill him, and we are protecting him. We are saving him and protecting him in the city of refuge. But that's only one point. And that is the discussion that appears in the book of Deuteronomy. He comes and we protect him and we save him and we make sure that the blood avenger does not kill him. But in the book of Numbers, the story is something else. We are talking about a person who is referred to as a murderer, even though he did it intentionally. And here we bring him there until the death of the high priest. And what is the concept of the death of the high priest? The high priest or the priests, the family of the Kohanim, are in charge of the education of the people. When Joshua concludes capturing the land, we have gone through many wars. The people of Israel participated in battles where there was bloodshed. There were people who were killed. Some of them may have been even honest people. But this is the nature of war, the nature of battles. And God wants us, and Joshua, who's telling us, is appointing us after he was accepted upon the people, as he has received his leadership, he's telling them, this is the message from now on. I want human life to be something that is not something that if somebody even if it's unintentionally, even if accidentally somebody is killed, it's a person took someone else's life. And we have to refer to this not as if nothing happened, even if it was unintentionally. Maybe it was negligence, maybe it was lack of carelessness, we don't know. But if a person's life was taken, then the person who did it is a murderer. The book of Joshua, the verses that we read, looks at this story in both aspects. The aspect as referring to the fact that we don't want people's blood to be spilled. On the other hand, we want to protect the person who did it. Both those stories that are described in Deuteronomy and Numbers here combined together. On the one hand, we're protecting this person. we don't want to lose his life. But on the other hand, he cannot, by no means, stay in his city. He has to sit there and until the death of the high priest, meaning the person who is in charge of the education of the people. He has to be there until that happens. And now we have the choosing or the designating of the three cities. It's interesting. We saw before, when Joshua divides the land, he's in the footsteps of Moses. At first, he gives 2.5 tribes, just like Moses gave 2.5 tribes. We saw that when he crossed the Jordan River, just like Moses did to the Red Sea. We saw it several times, comparing the various different stories in the book of Joshua to the actions of Moses. Here again, Moses designated 3 cities on the eastern side of the Jordan River, and those were the 3 cities: the Golan, which is all the way up in the north. It's called the city of Golan in the Bashan. It's Ramot in Gilad, in the tribe of Gad, and Betzer in the tribe of Reuven. So we have Betzer, Ramot, Golan in the south, the center, and the north. Joshua does the exact same thing on the western side of the Jordan River. He has Kadesh, which is all the way up north. He has Shechem, which is in the center, and Kiryat Arba, which is in the south. So these 3 cities that are there to protect the person who unintentionally killed are not all close to each other. They're spread around, so that we give the person a chance to get away and to run away. What we see here, the Torah is actually trying to fight this barbarian custom of the blood avenger. We want a person who, if you killed intentionally, you will be taken care of by court. If you did not, you're protected. But on the other hand, we don't want you to refer to spilling of blood, to shedding of blood as if nothing happened. And this is the story of this chapter. The first command that Joshua tells the people after he has divided the land, after he has given, or I would say stabilized his leadership, this is the point. Remember, human life is not something that we can look over as if nothing happened. And loss of human life, for whatever reason, whether even if it was unintentionally, has to be referred to as if something very serious happened. The final sentence of this chapter in verse 9, these were the cities appointed for all the children of Israel, and for the Nochad resident living among them, to which any person who kills unintentionally may flee, and not die by the hand of the avenger of the blood before he stands before the tribunal. He has to stand in front of the congregation, and he has to understand and take responsibility for what he did. He cannot continue living in his city. He has to go away to a city, but he will be protected there. We'll protect him. But on the other hand, he will have to remember that something happened. Something very serious happened. And this is the first important message that Joshua is telling the people after they participated in so many battles, and as if human life was something that you can spill like water. Comes Joshua and tells us a very important message. Human life is something that you cannot skip over as if nothing happened on the time when it is lost, even when it's unintentionally. Shalom.